Hi, I'm DeEtte Wick, and I'm a middle school English teacher at A.E. Phillips Laboratory School in Lincoln Parish. I am passionate about teachers leading from the classroom. Teachers have the greatest impact on student success out of anything that happens in a classroom. I think that we need to invest in our teachers. Education is constantly changing, and these changes come from our administration, from the parish, from the state, and the federal government. Oftentimes, the people making these decisions seem so far removed from the classroom that it is hard for teachers to buy into these changes. I believe teachers in the classroom need a voice. Giving teacher leaders this voice can help us to support and empower each other and create lasting change. This change can be more easily accepted coming from teachers still in a classroom and can benefit other teachers, students, and the school as a whole. To respond to this issue, I have been a formal teacher leader for 5 years at our school. I have earned my certification as a content leader and was hired this fall as a teacher leader advisor for the Louisiana Department of Education. These roles have provided me with high-quality professional development, time to collaborate with other educators, opportunities to ask real questions to people involved in decision-making, the ability to share what I have learned with other teachers. This role is both formal and informal. Formally, I have provided professional development for teachers at our school and other schools in the parish. Informally, I have conversations and collaborate with my colleagues all of the time. And during this time I spend with them, sometimes I'm able to answer questions based on the training that I have received. Sometimes I can direct them to resources within the curriculum or on the Louisiana Department of Education website. And sometimes I can take their questions to people at the state who might be able to answer them. I am passionate about supporting other teachers, bringing up teachers as leaders, and giving teachers a voice in the changes that impact education. The video that you are going to watch is me teaching 8th graders using the Louisiana guidebooks. I'm teaching a lesson from the Flowers for Algernon unit for 8th grade. The objectives for this lesson are for students to read and discuss the text, The Story of Prometheus. During this time, they need to locate evidence to support claims that they are making that they will then bring to the discussion. At the end of the lesson, I need them to write a paragraph about the theme of the text and support that with evidence from the text. This is the final lesson on the text, The Story of Prometheus, moving from comprehension to understanding author's craft to make meaning, to analysis of characterization and theme. Students also need to understand that this is a source text. Students will see how this text connects to another unit text later on. Overall goals in ELA are for students to read challenging, authentic texts worth reading multiple times for different purposes. Then students need to use these texts to have discussions, to analyze, and to write about these texts. Some students in my class need extended time to complete assignments. Some students are very hesitant to participate in class discussions. To accommodate these students, I gave some students the questions yesterday to give them a little extra time to begin working on the questions so that they could feel confident in their answers and ability to participate. I also purposefully pair students together to support each other and meet the needs of each student. Scholarly discussions are something we routinely use to examine texts and to learn how to engage in conversations where students listen to each other and build on ideas. Scholarly discussions are a great way to see what students understand from the text and for them to apply their learning and take it beyond the text.
Today we are going to continue with our analysis of the characters' actions in the Greek myths. We are going to go back into the text, the story of Prometheus, how fire was given to men, and the story of Pandora. And we are going to read the discussion questions and answer them with your partner while taking notes. You're going to review both sections of the text to locate evidence to support your answers, and you are going to mark the evidence to support each discussion question on your copy of the text.
I put something like that. I said it's helping mankind, motivates Prometheus to divide Jupiter, and I said this reveals that Prometheus is help for humanity.
As if Jupiter is right for not giving the humans fire. I think I like what you said better because mine didn't really give enough context. And this really just reveals that Prometheus is a kind, caring Titan. So basically what you were saying about how, because Prometheus said if they only had fire,
then that just shows how kind, how he was just
so compassionate for humankind and how their suffering motivated them to help them with the fire. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. What did you do for number 3?
Do you think we should add what happens after they get punished? Because that also affects it. Because at the beginning it was like Prometheus, he defies Jupiter, but at first it's positive, but at the end, Pandora's box happens. So, do you think we should add that? So at the very end, right? What evidence would you say we find there? I'm going to page 46 and 47 for that.
Let's talk about it. See if you can come up with a really, like a 5th question that would be worth adding to this.
Just didn't want them to go through this overthrow him.
Yeah.
And so I think he overreacted. And he could have just cast Prometheus out and then taken away their fire. And they would have been just as it had been. But instead he decided to let them keep the fire, and he but he gave them death and disease and destruction. And
It's like almost straight off.
Okay, so we are going to get into a circle so that we can have a scholarly discussion as a class. You need your clipboard, your conversation stems, your handout, and your text. Up here. Perfect. Okay, great. So we are going to have a discussion now as a class. And one of the things that is important about having a discussion is that you come prepared, which you have just spent 13 minutes doing. You are prepared for this discussion. So I'm going to open it up by asking the first question, and then just like we do before, I'm going to try not to have to call on you. When you have something to say, you can wait till the person finishes, and then think about our conversation stems that help us transition to new ideas and new thinking, okay? So I'm going to start with the first question, which is, why does Jupiter refuse to give humans fire? And what does this reveal about Jupiter's character?
He does not want them to profit from that. Like, he doesn't want them to get too powerful, and so he's kind of selfish about it.
But at the same time, though, he is being just like his dad and his grandfather, because all of them have always been selfish and wanted power for themselves. So eventually he would have to be overthrown.
So I like all these ideas. Who can put in some evidence from the text to support these? Abby.
I said that if men had fire, they might become strong and wise like ourselves, and after a while they would drive us out of our kingdom. And then he goes on to say that they should let the humans starve, suffer, and basically live in misery. And that kind of shows how he's like greedy. He wants all the power. He doesn't want them to have anything really.
Adding on to what Abby said, sort of, this is kind of where she got evidence from. So it says, like, let them shiver with cold and let them live like the beasts. It's best for them to be poor and ignorant, so that we mighty ones may thrive and be happy. That kind of just shows us, like, how, like Marie said, selfish he is. Like, just wants to keep it all to himself.
I don't think he's selfish, but I think he just wants his brothers and sisters to be in power and not anything else.
I disagree with that. Like, politely, because he is being selfish. He doesn't want to give them any power because he doesn't want to be overthrown.
He wants it all to himself.
Yeah, he doesn't even give them enough power to defend themselves from the wild creatures that go everywhere.
No, I'm not talking about the creatures below. I'm talking about his brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
Not
but he's saying
yeah, like the other gods. I'm not talking about the mankind.
Okay, Let's move to question 2. What motivates Prometheus to defy Jupiter? Because Jupiter was pretty specific about his answer. So what motivates Prometheus to defy Jupiter, and what does this reveal about Prometheus's character?
I said his sympathy for them because in the text it was talking about how when he first saw them, his heart was filled with sadness just because he felt so bad for them when he saw what they were going through.
I agree with Sophia, especially because there's evidence that backs it up. Prometheus says if they only had fire, they could at least warm themselves and cook their food. And that ultimately is what leads Prometheus to go to Jupiter in the first place and ask for the fire. Because he's just really compassionate about humans and how they're suffering, and he just wants to make it better for them.
Okay, question number 3. And Dylan, do you think you can answer this one first for us? I'm going to give you a moment to think about it while I read the question. How are humans influenced by Prometheus's decision to defy Jupiter? So how are humans influenced by Prometheus's decision to defy Jupiter? Dylan, what did you write for that one?
Because if Prometheus didn't defy Jupiter, then mankind, they wouldn't learn all those ways to live.
Okay. Great start. Who can build with that? And this is the big money question. Of course, it won't work up there. This one is not on your sheet, okay? But this is the quote. It says, "It is best for humans," this is from the text, "to be poor and ignorant so that we mighty ones may thrive and be happy." Throughout the text, they're not referred to as gods. They are referred to as the mighty ones or the mighty folk. So this is the question. The gods are repeatedly referred to as the mighty ones. Are the gods truly mighty? Why or why not?
Kind of a different point of view on it. I think they are mighty because of the way that because they rule the human race and make things for them. Prometheus made fire for them, and they take care of them as it is. For Jupiter's not really caring for them and just letting them die, and he chose that. He can make them completely die and stuff, and there's a bunch of different gods that can do different things for them. So I think they are the mighty ones, where they're I can't think of the word. It's they're more powerful or something like that.
Yes.
So you're saying basically because of it doesn't matter about their heart so much as it is their power and their ability to lead.
But does that really make them mighty, or does it just make them what you in Greek mythology what they would call a god?
I think there's
Does
two
that
definitions to mighty.
does it make them mighty, or does it just make them the Greek definition of god?
Because I think, and Claire, you're thinking of the strong, I rule, I have all the power type mighty, but there's also, that, Gage said, the mental mighty, and that can just mean caring for people and being courageous. Yeah. And Abby said Zeus was Jupiter was so insecure, and that's almost the opposite of being mighty.
And he was
The question, what is the theme of the story of Prometheus? What is the takeaway for us? And then, how do Prometheus's actions and Jupiter's actions develop the theme? About 4 minutes left.
I am really proud of how my 8th grade students participated in this discussion and showed their thinking. I believe that the lesson objectives were met. I know this because I kept track of student discussion on a discussion tracker to monitor student engagement. I have also read the student paragraphs to gauge understanding of the text's themes. This is an excellent lesson. I do not believe that I would change anything from this lesson. Having the students discuss in pairs prior to the whole class discussion helps every student be prepared and have the ability to participate in the whole class discussion. After this lesson, we will move on to the unit text, Flowers for Algernon. Students will get to see how the story of Prometheus was used as a source text in this unit.